This is how society collapses. This is how society collapses. So Candace Owens, along with a bunch of other people on the right, have been banned by YouTube. There's a massive purge happening. Just a few days ago, Lauren Chen was basically uh, labeled or called out by the State Department, her company, for working with RT News, and she was taken off the platform. Her company was banned. All of her channels were banned, and she hasn't been back for a while now. She's likely being questioned by the FBI and the department, and maybe even the Department of Homeland Security. I guarantee you, it's a very serious situation. And of course, all of this is happening right before our election. In her case, they're saying that she was working with the Russians to spread propaganda to influence the election in Trump's favor. And now Candace Owens has been banned. Well, she hasn't been banned, but she's been suspended by YouTube. Her channel has been demonetized, and a bunch of other creators have just been outright banned. So this is unbelievable stuff that is happening. Watch the end of the video to fully understand the implications of this happening, what we can do about it, and how this is going to really change things going forward. We have a video from the quartering, so let's just go ahead and jump in. And as usual, his channel will be linked in the description so you can go and support him.
So, just permanently banned on YouTube, no explanation at all. It says I can never own a channel or operate a channel ever again, so that's lovely. It's interesting, it seems like the censorship czar is back out in full force. It's election season, baby. Censorship is great. Keep it up.
You're playing music too loud, right to jail, right away. You're driving too fast, jail. Slow, jail. You're charging too high prices for sweaters, glasses, you right to jail.
Well, another day and another ban wave hit YouTube, not just, by the way, those that were involved in tenant media, but also another massive creator banned without a single warning or a single strike on their channel. There's something really weird going on. Obviously, it's an election year. This always happens around election time. There's a great purge going on. And, for a lot of years, there wasn't, a great option out there. Obviously, now there are other platforms that you can find people on, like the Mean Green platform, which we'll talk about later. But Friday late, YouTube banned both Taylor Hanson, who is an on-the-ground reporter. He's in Ohio right now, reporting on migrants eating ducks and swans out of the ponds at the park, thanks to Kamala Harris. But also, he's on the ground reporting all over this country. He was not convicted of a single crime, and YouTube banned his channel simply for being affiliated with tenant media. Now, curiously or questionably, worrisomely, I worry about, Tim Pool, Benny Johnson, Matt Christensen, and other creators that were associated with Tenet, because, again, according to the DOJ, these people had no knowledge, none whatsoever, on who was funding this company. So why did Taylor get banned after years on the platform? Now, this tweet was put out by Taylor Hanson, and I just got permanently banned from YouTube. Taylor Hanson, we have reviewed your content and found severe or repeated violations of our community guidelines. Because of this, we have removed your channel from YouTube. We know this is probably upsetting, blah, 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 blah. If you think we made the wrong call, you can appeal the decision. I mean, I certainly hope he will appeal it, but I can't imagine that they would restore it. By the way, you see here, Springfield, Ohio residents are warning their pets and wildlife, and ducks and geese are being eaten by Haitians. One neighbor said she saw her cat being carved up by the Haitians. Another neighbor said police officer told her it was happening to dogs, ducks, and geese. Is that why he was banned? Is that he was reporting this kind of stuff? I don't even understand what's going on here, but why they got banned. By the way, he did make he's on Rumble now, I should say. So make sure you check out Taylor Hanson's Rumble channel. You can see he's been uploading his videos there. Download the Rumble app today. Look, it's not just happening to political content creators too. I'm gonna show you an example of that. But download the Rumble app. I'm not saying you have to leave YouTube forever, but have it and watch some of your favorite creators over there. The only way we remove the power of the sense of censorship is by embracing new and alt tech platforms. Maybe not just Rumble, but BitChute and Odyssey too. You can see I have 257,000 followers on Rumble. My videos generally get 20 to 30,000 views. It's not like nobody's here. There's lots of people here, and more people coming, especially with this going on.
So, guys, this is really insane stuff. Many of our favorite creators are basically beginning to go, the way of the dinosaur and the platform. Of course, we should have all seen this coming. Candace being such a large content creator, I would have thought that she would have been more awakened to the situation. She does have a presence on Rumble, but it seems like the channel that she first had was owned by the Daily Wire that has like 200,000 subscribers, and then she created a new channel. She created a brand new channel, which now has 95,000 subscribers, and I suspect that people will begin jumping over there and going to Rumble. There are a lot of people, content creators on Rumble now, who have well over 1 million subscribers. And I'll tell you, like, I remember when someone said to me on YouTube, like, your competitors are already on Rumble, and what are you doing? And it bothered me. It bothered me, considering the fact that I had to literally, coming back from horrible health, 4 years of hell. I had to rebuild myself on YouTube. I had to rebuild everything. I've been rebuilding for like the last year. It's been a year of rebuilding, and but realistically speaking, like, society, the world doesn't care. The world does not care. That's how the world works. The world doesn't care about you, about your feelings, about what's happening in your life, you know, and you can lose everything and anything at any given moment. Just like every day above ground is a blessed day. You are fortunate for every day above ground, or every day that you draw breath in this world. Every day that you're still on the platform, still able to, do things and survive, you know, you're fortunate, until they finally come for you, because we are definitely living in an Orwellian society right now, 100%. And you have to adapt quickly. You have to move quickly. This is one of the reasons why I say constantly that Gen Z, like, and it, Gen Xers know it in their soul. They know it in their souls that there's no way that most Gen Zers are going to be able to survive this. The living hell on earth that we are entering into, these extremely hard times. No way in hell that most Gen Zers are going to survive this. The reason why I say this is because you have a lot of Gen Xers who've worked hard throughout their entire lives, done exactly what they're supposed to do, and they still have not. They're still living hard lives, but they don't complain. They just keep on grinding and pushing and moving on. But you have to remember that by 10 years old, most Gen Xers were already full-blown adults. It's not an exaggeration. They were already full-blown adults. Like, they understood the way that the world worked. They understood people, and they knew how to survive with very little. Our parents would send us out of the house with $1 or 50 cents in our pockets and tell us, go out into the world and survive on that. And we had to literally survive with almost no money in our pockets in this world. If you want to know how to pinch a dollar, boomers claim that no one can pinch a dollar better than a boomer. Let me explain something to you. Boomers will spend someone else's money while saving theirs. That's how boomers operate. Okay? When it came to Gen Xers, we basically had to people that grew up during the Gen X era, like older millennials, and Zennials, we just basically had to do with what we had, the very little we had. Life at school was often hell. Life at home was often hell. Life in general was often hell. The boomers don't have empathy. That's something very interesting. Most baby boomers don't have empathy. I'm not saying all, but most do not have empathy. It's because of the way that they were raised. They were raised to have, with the focus being placed entirely upon them. They were given everything that they want, so they cannot really empathize with others. These are the same people that are saying that millennials and Gen Zers are the luckiest generations ever born because, millennials are making more money than every other generation. They're making more money than their parents' generation. And of course, they forget about Gen X because no one cares about Gen X. And that's just the way Gen X likes it. And then you have Gen Z. They're saying that Gen Z is they're purchasing homes faster than their parents. And you have Gen Zers like pretty much every Gen Z. They're like, well, pretty much every other Gen Zer I know does not own a house, right? The oldest Gen Zers right now are 27 years old. So most Gen Zers, most older Gen Zers are like in their very early 20s or mid 20s, and it's like these people own houses. Come on. So the boomers are lying. They're spreading propaganda. A lot of the crap that's happening around us right now are because of the decisions that they've made and the fact that they want to continue the status quo. It's the honest to goodness truth. When you look at Harris's voter base, you'll notice that many of these people don't even have salt and pepper hair. All right, they have white hair, straight up white hair. Okay, these are the people that are voting for Kamala. These are the people that are trying to keep the system going in this way. Do I enjoy watching Jeremy? Do I enjoy? There are people who like say, overall, I think Jeremy's content is decent, and I think that his content is informative for a lot of people. Here's the thing, don't be surprised when if Jeremy when Jeremy just vanishes from the platform. He just basically gets 3 strikes and you're out, and he could say something like, "Well, there was not even a single strike on my channel," and now he's suddenly gone. When we look at what's happened to Kamala Harris, not Kamala, to when we look at what's happened to Candace Owens, for example, this is her Twitter over here. And I really think that she really should have gone harder when it came to, she really should have gone a lot harder when it came to, moving people over to Rumble. But she has almost 100,000 subscribers over there, better than me. But I think she could have done a lot more to move people to Rumble as quickly as she could have, because this, anyone could see this coming. She's now demonetized on YouTube. She's demonetized and she's suspended. If you guys have a basic understanding of how things went down, we can look at some of her tweets alongside this. There will be no show today, or at least this week. That's because, YouTube has issued me a strike and 1 week suspension for my sit down with Ye. They also removed the interview and they labeled it as inappropriate speech, as it was mass reported. Okay, so and again, I'm not agreeing with anything that Candace says. I'm just basically discussing the situation. I am not taking a position on this, right? I'm not taking a position on it at all. I'm just discussing what she's posted there. So additionally, the video Ye and Candace has been removed from the Candace Owens YouTube channel because it violates our speech policies. YouTube does not allow content containing conspiratorial claims that individuals or groups are evil, corrupt, or malicious based on their protected group status. Specifically, the video in question contains claims that certain groups of people control the media. So, and again, I'm not in agreement with that. I am not siding with that whatsoever. I don't want that smoke, but I'm just reading what the letter said, what she got from YouTube. So it says that thus far I have had 0 strikes on my YouTube channel. She sent that to YouTube creators account. I have now been inundated with 3 back-to-back content hits within minutes, plus an email that I am now fully demonetized. We all know exactly why this is happening, all right? So that's basically what's going on right now. That's absolutely what's going on right now. And, again, this comes after Lauren Chen was basically removed from the platform. And the claim circulating is that she was, working with the Russians, specifically RT, to spread propaganda that would push, the election in the favor of Trump. Again, I am not expressing an opinion upon that. I'm just reporting what has happened here and the reasons why the Department of Justice is involved. So, like I said, she has undoubtedly been contacted by the FBI, probably the Department of Homeland Security as well. A lot of agencies, maybe even the CIA. That's one of the reasons why we likely have not seen her on social media. And when something like this happens as well, because of the money that she received, it's very possible that her bank accounts have also been frozen. So she may have limited access to her funds, to her money. I'm almost certain that her tenant media account, where she, because you have to have a separate account, you have to separate your business assets from your personal assets. That likely has been frozen, and again, her personal bank accounts may have also been frozen. So her access to capital may have been reduced. That's one of the very important things, something that we can learn from the Japanese. A lot of older Japanese people, it is still very commonplace for them to keep money in their homes, to basically keep money protected. I would not say that everyone should do this, but I will say that it is very important to have cash on hand, at least a couple $1,000s. I always try to keep, some cash on hand at home, have some money on hand. There's a lot of people like, oh, don't listen to stupid old angry, don't listen to old Uncle Angry. Listen to me. Anything can happen at any given moment. Now, I understand there are some of you out there that can't even find 500, could not pull together $500 right now if it was to save your life. All right, I get that, I understand. But for those of you that want a bit of wisdom, you know, do not keep all of your eggs in one basket. Do not keep all of your money in the bank. Okay, you need to diversify, diversify, diversify. Okay, you need to be able to access different units of value at any given moment. You need to have, for example, you need to have some cryptocurrency. Some people are like crypto is too unstable. There's a thing called stable coins. There's a things like there are coins like Tether. Yes, there's risk associated with everything. All right, you should be diversifying. You should have some crypto in Bitcoin. You should have some Bitcoin crypto. You should have some Ethereum. You should have some stable coins. All right, you should have some Tether. You should have a wallet, a digital wallet that allows you to store your cryptocurrency and keep that safe. A hardware wallet. Okay, you need to be able to do these things. You need to keep your money in different places so that you can access it at various points. All right, buy some gold, buy some silver. Okay, have gold, have silver, have it at home. Buy some land somewhere. I'm not playing around. Buy some land. Farmland is lit right now. Buy some land. Do your research. Okay. Do not keep all of your assets in one thing, because you will need you because when you need money, all right, it is very easy for your bank account to easily become inaccessible. It is very easy, and it doesn't have to be the government that does this. It could be the bank themselves. Guys, let me tell you this. If we enter into a serious economic downturn, believe it or not, people will start to panic and say, "Oh, it's the Federal Reserves, it's this and this." Bro, it's the banks. It's the banks themselves. I'm not going to express a direct opinion on the Federal Reserve, but if the banks are being irresponsible with money, if the banks are giving loans they really should not be handing out, and I guarantee you they're doing that right now as well, because people are living off credit, and people who have no business, you know, getting even $10,000, a $10,000 credit card, are living off credit right now, especially Gen Z. All of these people are going to default. All right. You have a lot of people right now that are doing things, buying things on credit, and they're all going to default. Okay. They're all going to default, and they're just going to file for bankruptcy. I'm being honest with you. You can buy, for example, you can buy gold at Costco. You can buy gold at Costco. You can buy crypto in some cases. So how many people, some credit card companies have basically put in place, like, they will not allow you to use their cards to buy things like cryptocurrency. But you can still potentially do things like go and buy a bar of gold at a bar of gold at Costco. I'm just being real. So there are so many people that will look at it like, well, you know what? I'm going to do my research and look into bankruptcy. Okay. Because it makes sense for me. I have all of this credit. So I'll go out there, buy some bars of gold, buy silver, buy these assets, convert, get some crypto, all of these things. Wait a little bit, and then go and file for bankruptcy. So I won't even wait until until the creditors are coming for me, until I can't afford to pay my bills anymore. No, 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 no. I'm not going to do any of that. I'm going to take my large lines of credit and I'm going to get all of these assets. And then after I get these assets, I'll even, if I can, I'll buy land I'll buy like land or property in a state where it's illegal to take away a person's primary home. I think that's how it is in California, in Florida. You have to understand, because when crap hits the fan, they're going to pull back on credit. So the average person who's had good credit for years, done everything right, they're suddenly going to start saying like everyone's going to start getting their credit limit lowered. People who have had perfect credit for decades. All right, people with 700, 750s, 800s, they're going to start getting notices in the mail that sorry, we can no longer extend you a line of credit for this amount because of risk. All right. It's nothing that you've done, but it's just how it is. So someone who had access to $70,000 in credit may now only have access to $10,000 or $7,000 worth of credit. And a lot of it has to also do with the fact that these people overextended themselves. Credit card companies overextended themselves, and now people are so dishonest that they're basically filing for bankruptcy and defaulting, and they don't give a damn. So what are bankruptcy exceptions? I want you guys to look into this. Simply put, a bankruptcy exception is a law that allows those filing bankruptcy to keep an asset regardless of the fact that they might otherwise be surrendering their means in the bankruptcy agreement. It's very interesting. So there are a bunch of things that are actually excluded from bankruptcy that the creditors cannot come after. While the permanent loss of property and major assets is one of the biggest fears people have when considering bankruptcy, exceptions protect these assets when they serve a practical and necessary purpose, such as transportation and housing. These exceptions vary by state and situation, and they may even protect property and other major assets if bankruptcy is not filed. The basic point of bankruptcy exception is to keep people in their homes, their jobs, and help them continue to participate in society regardless of their financial struggles. They aim to protect everyday necessities for the health, well-being, and functionality of the person and their family. Some examples of things that might be protected by a bankruptcy exemptions include personal property, automobiles, property used as housing, items used as health aids, tools of the trade, or other necessities, retirement accounts, unemployment or workers' compensation, alimony or child support payments, crime victim awards such as personal injury payments, life insurance, social security benefits, veteran benefits, and other government benefits. So they can't come after your social security benefits, can't come after your SSI, can't come after your veteran benefits or other government benefits like your food stamps or your health insurance, can't come after unemployment benefits or workers' compensation, can't come after alimony or child support, can't come after crime victim awards such as personal injury payments. So if you're getting personal injury payments, they can't come after that. Okay. Automobiles, some of these things are excluded. So for example, your primary automobile that you would use to go to work and back from work, they can't take that away from you. That doesn't mean that you won't lose some of your cars if you have a bunch of luxury cars. But if you have just one car and you're using that to survive, can't take that. Personal property, so things like your laptop and things along those lines, can't take those things away from you. Yeah, this is how crazy it. So guys, it starts to look really good. The exception that would allow you to keep or continue to benefit from these assets vary widely, as every state has its own laws about what can be claimed as an exemption. Florida has one of the most generous allowances when it comes to exemptions for homeowners. This is because of the Homestead Exemption, which is one of the best in the nation. What is Florida Homestead Exemption? What is the Florida Homestead Exemption? All right, let's jump into that. The Florida Homestead Exemption answers the question, can you file for bankruptcy and keep your house in Florida? With a resounding yes. This is because the real estate designated as housing for you and your family is exempt from any bankruptcy agreement. How this is handled differs from one chapter of bankruptcy to the next, but in general, it allows you to keep your primary residence even if others must be surrendered. In Chapter 7 bankruptcy, your appointed bankruptcy trustee will seize and sell non-exempt property and assets to offset the cost of your unpaid debts. This will not include your exempt homestead property. In many states, you being able to keep your home through this exemption will depend on its value, allowing you to only keep property up to a certain dollar amount of value. However, Florida law allows you to exempt your homestead property up to an unlimited value. This means no matter how much equity is tied up in your home, you can keep that home as part of Florida's homestead exemption. Yeah, so you're gonna find a lot of people just doing this, and keep in mind. So I actually looked into this. What actually happens if you do file for bankruptcy, for example, in the state of Florida. Are you going to end up? Will you be able to keep your home? Yes, you can keep your home. However, it's not. It's not like you're gonna get away, scotch free. If you file for bankruptcy in Florida and owe money for your home, you'll be able to keep your home going forward without ever having to make a payment on it again. Will you have to make a payment again? Meaning the bank can take it away from you, and you're no longer responsible for payments. Like you need and so I asked this, and basically, here's how Copilot responded. This is ChatGPT. So in the situation when you file for bankruptcy over there, you have the homestead exemption that we talked about. Florida has a generous homestead exemption, which can protect your primary residence from being sold to pay off debts. However, it's not that simple. There's differences. Chapter 7 bankruptcy basically allows you to basically reorganize. Chapter 13 bankruptcy basically allows you to create a repayment plan to pay off debts, while Chapter 7 it's basically it's where non-exempt assets are sold to pay creditors. But the homestead exemption can protect your home. But here's the interesting thing about all of this, right? So the bank can still place liens. So your creditors can still place liens on your property. They can still place liens on your house, presumably, let's say even on your car, if you're allowed to keep it. They can place liens on these properties. And when you sell them, the creditors would have to get their money first before you're able to get anything. All right. So I basically asked, so when you say does liens mean that creditors can still place liens on your property even though they can't seize it, and if so, they can claim profits from the sale regardless later on? And yeah, that's Copilot says yes, that's correct. That is 100% the case. Here's how it works. Liens on bankruptcy, even if creditors can seize your home due to the homestead exemption, they can still place lien. Even if creditors cannot seize your home due to the homestead exemption, they can still place liens on your property. A lien is a general claim against your property as a security for a debt. So what are the impacts? These liens don't allow creditors to take your home while you're living in it, but they do affect what happens if you sell the property. When you sell your home, any existing liens must be paid off from the sale proceeds because you received any money. Now, what are the types of liens? Common types of liens include mortgage liens, tax liens, and judgment liens. If you have any of these on your property, they will need to be addressed when you sell your home. And then there's post-bankruptcy. After your bankruptcy case is concluded, the liens remain on your property unless they are specifically addressed and removed during the bankruptcy process. This means that if you sell your home later, the proceeds will go to pay off these liens. So in summary, while bankruptcy can provide significant relief from debt, it doesn't automatically remove liens on your property. These liens will need to be paid off if you decide to sell your home in the future. Consulting with a bankruptcy attorney can help you understand how to manage these liens and navigate the process effectively. But like I said, guys, there's a lot of people who are going to just take advantage of the system. 100% they're going to take advantage of the system, and they're going to just go out there, they're going to buy whatever they can on credit, and then they're just going to file for bankruptcy. A lot of Gen Zers are going to do it. I can see a lot of millennials do it. I can even see some Gen Xers doing it as well. I have Gen Xers who are saying that their lives are basically over. They're going to be working until they're carted off to the glue factory. So, society never gave a damn about them. So why would they give a damn about society? So there's going to be a lot of dishonest behavior happening around us. And a lot of it's going to happen from people who were once very honest and, decent people. Some people are going to go, well, if you're once an honest person and you do dishonest things, then that means that you were always a dishonest person. No, that's not the case. That's not the case. You can have very honest people who basically view society, they get corrupted. They view society as, an evil thing, and that society has turned on them, society has destroyed their lives, society has robbed them, and now they're like, I don't care. I'll basically just do whatever. I'll do what society has done to me, and I'll get whatever I can get out of society because my life is not going anywhere. I'm not getting any younger. I have very few options. So I'll just basically take whatever I can, and that's it. And then whoever suffers, suffers. But I've been suffering my entire life. I did everything I was supposed to, and this is how you screwed me over. So that's a very serious thing right now, where society in and of itself is going to turn a lot of people it's going to make a lot of people dishonest. And let me make this very clear. I don't agree with Gen Zers who say things like, if you want me to be honest, you need to pay me to be honest. If someone needs to pay you to be honest, then you are always a dishonest person. Okay? If you basically say you have to pay me not to steal from you, then you're a thief. You're 100% a thief. But if you're a person who has been honest throughout your entire life, or at least you've tried to be honest, and you've been robbed by everyone around you, you've been robbed by your neighbors, you've been robbed by society, and no matter what you try to do, you keep on getting screwed. That you're just eventually a lot of people will just say, you know what, I'm just gonna do what the Romans do, right? If I'm gonna survive in this society. And it's not a good thing, but that's the honest to goodness truth. But there are some people who are just naturally dishonest, and that's how these people are. That's 100% how these people are. It's an unfortunate situation, but it's the honest truth.
Steven Crowder, YouTube permanently banned Taylor Hanson with no evidence and no explanation. They'll claim Russian interference, but big tech is the one employing a Soviet censorship program. Expect more of this as November approaches. We hope more of you will join Taylor in making the move to Rumble Video, a platform that actually supports free speech.
So Taylor Hanson, I don't even know, he's a journalist, and of course we've been filling you in on what's been going on with the Tenet media situation. And to be clear, it seems like people like Tim Pool, Benny Johnson, these other contributors, people who are creating content, were duped. Obviously, there were some Russians at play, and it could also be, of course, you could argue intelligence agencies because they knew about it for a year, and it does seem like maybe there were some people at the top who knew about it. Yeah. I very much don't think that this is the case with this next person, and the indictment pretty much says this next person was not knowingly involved, but that doesn't change the fact that YouTube permanently banned without trial the journalist Taylor Hanson.
So, just permanently banned on YouTube, no explanation at all. It says I can never own a channel or operate a channel ever again, so that's lovely. Obviously admits the DOJ indictment of the alleged activities of Russian funding. Tenet Media was banned almost immediately. Lauren Chen was banned almost immediately, and now I was banned with no explanation, even though the indictment states, if these charges are true, these allegations are true, we're all victims, the people that were hosts there and me as a reporter there. So it's interesting. It seems like the censorship czar is back out in full force. It's election season, baby. So yeah, ban with no explanation. I wonder if they're going to stop here, or are they just going to take it all the way? They're going to ban anyone that was ever affiliated with this brand, which is absolutely mind-boggling to me. But there you go. Permanently banned. You got to love it. I love America, y'all. Censorship is great. Keep it up.
And Taylor's over there at, he's on Rumble. You can go follow him there. Yeah. Of course, you can follow him on X. Show him some love because he has done some really good work on.
He has. And this is a journalist banned running up to the election. Now, again, Lauren Chen, okay, maybe you could make the argument, hey, she was ensnared in this Department of Justice thing. I would argue that Lauren Chen deserves a trial. She has not been found guilty of anything. Zip, zero, nothing. So why is she getting banned? I don't understand the logic of that. I understand, look, if she was caught or, found guilty or whatever, You can make the argument, but look at this. It's not even political creators. Amaranth, who is, I would say, a kind of a spicy creator. She kind of came up, dancing around, shaking her rear. But she's been fine on YouTube for, I don't know, a million years. I mean, she's been around on YouTube forever. A month ago, they banned her ASMR channel for it being too provocative.
So here's where things get really interesting, guys. The thing is that there are many arguments that, Google has been breaching their terms of contract and services with YouTube content creators for years. However, no one really has the money to go and fight these large corporations. Right now, the FTC, is it the FTC? Basically, government body is basically has said recently that Google has violated antitrust laws, and that's just like, and I think that's just like Google search, but they're going after Google search. They're going after AdSense. YouTube is a possibility as well, that YouTube could be considered a monopoly. So as a result, a lot of these companies could end up being broken up. And when I say companies, I mean like Google's entire business, because even though it's held by Alphabet. Alphabet is really just a holding company. YouTube is a separate company from Google search and AdSense, and then they also have other companies like their driving car service. So it's kind of crazy. And this entire business can be broken up. Their entire business can be broken up. So a lot of people don't have that kind of money. They cannot take on these companies. You're gonna have to find an attorney that's going to file a suit for you. The attorney has to survive somehow. I mean, these things go on for years, and if they lose the suit, they're screwed. They lose all of that in money, because the average person cannot finance one of these lawsuits. It goes into the millions and millions of dollars. And when you file these lawsuits, it's attorneys. They have an entire team of people often working for them. It's crazy doing research. It's maddening how many fees there are involved in just being an attorney, especially if you're going to be taking on a large corporation. Like a lot of people would never want to go up against one of the large companies like Google or Apple or anything, because you're going to lose. You're going to lose. This is one of the reasons why Nintendo, for example, is able to abuse the copyright system in the United States, because no one can go up against them. No one has the power. No one has the kind of money necessary to go up against them and to say, hey, you're abusing the copyright system. We're going to challenge you in court, and that's it. And they know it, so they can continue abusing the system. And it's only when, for example, someone challenges them, they're able to find an attorney, and they maybe take this to sometimes the Supreme. It has to go to the Supreme Court. That change occurs, and by then these things can take an entire decade. Like, there are so many cases where this thing was filed like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and the entire process could take 15 to 20 years just to make it to the Supreme Court. And these companies know that. So by the time that happens, people have passed away, witnesses are gone, documentation is lost, new policies have changed. This is, companies are, we changed our policy. So, that's not even the case anymore. A lot of things can happen during that time. It's a sad reality. It's a sad, sad reality. So we're kind of at the mercy of these companies. Look at Russell Brand. Russell Brand, his channel was demonetized on YouTube, and he's never been arrested for anything. He's never been found guilty of anything. But the UK, the Department of the Parliament in the UK were demanding. They basically they reached out to YouTube. They said that they want his channel demonetized. They also reached out to Rumble. They demanded that Rumble demonetize him as well. They refused to do that. But you could see the results, right? Like right now, basically, there's no such thing as freedom of speech. We had the truth is that there was only an illusion. All right, and the illusion is melting away. And you got to realize something, that there are a lot of people who support these people. They support is what's being done, because they fear your speech. They don't want us to talk. They don't want our voices. In fact, they really don't even care so much if their voices are censored. Believe it or not. Don't get me wrong. They want to speak freely, and some of these people will get absolutely freaked out when their voices are taken away. But many of them don't even care if their voices are taken away, just as long as you don't have one either. Like they would basically rather everyone live under tyranny and everyone be censored than free speech occur. So they would rather lose their own voices. They would rather lose their freedom just to ensure that you have no voice and you have no freedom. I'm so serious. This is how a lot of people operate. And because some people don't like, some people are like, well, why are these people even doing this? Because if you try to censor me, if you try to silence me, it's only going to backfire on you. And you don't, and that's the thing. They don't care. They don't care. They don't care if everyone suffers. They don't care if it affects them later on, their well-being. Guys, look at all of these, influencers who are very heavy set. Many of them have now passed away, right? And they didn't care. People told them, like, hey, the lifestyle you're living isn't healthy. You have to be consciously aware of that. You've got to take better care of yourself. What did they do? They didn't care. And many of them have passed away. And basically, they want you to go and pass with them. They want you. This is, guys, we are in it's basically a form of spiritual warfare that is happening right now. And we are around a lot of people who are spiritually wicked. Okay. And when we talk about the Jezebel spirit is not exclusive to women. The Jezebel spirit, it inhibits both men, it occupies both men and women. And a lot of men and women today have the Jezebel spirit within them. A lot of simps have the Jezebel spirit within them. It is very much because of the simps why we are suffering so much in Western society. It is very much because of the decisions of the simps why we are in this situation that we are in right now. The simps are heavily to blame. I've said this plenty of times that we need to stop blaming feminism for anything. Feminism is not responsible for anything that has happened. The individuals that chose to do these things are responsible, that chose to go down this path are responsible. You have to hold the individuals accountable. And many of you are very divided with me on this. Very, very divided with me on this, okay? When I say something like, look at what's happening in Venezuela right now, okay? Socialism didn't create the problems in Venezuela. The people who instituted socialism are the ones who created the problems in Venezuela, all right? Are you trying to tell me that Hugo Chavez and Maduro, these were great people, and it was socialism that corrupted them? That's such a stupid concept, such a stupid thing to say. Oh, Fidel Castro, he was such an amazing and wonderful man. Okay, it was communism that corrupted him. Kim Jong-un, he's an incredible human being. It's not that he's a bad person. It's not that it's not that he wants to do these things. It's communism that has corrupted him. It's communism that has made him the way that he is. You're joking. You're absolutely joking. You've got to be crazy. You've got to be crazy. He did these things because he chose to. It is something within these people. It is their own personal ideologies. It is what they believe as people. When people go out there and commit these acts, it is because they chose to. All right? So we shouldn't be blaming feminism for anything. All right? Feminism did not corrupt women. If anything, we could argue that it is the individual themselves that actually corrupted the ideology. I know, because think about it. Feminism is just a notion of equality between men and women. So how exactly could feminism become what it is today? It's because of the individuals that instituted it and used the ideology to get what they want, okay? And to institute a state of tyranny. Feminism did not take advantage of women. The truth is that women took full advantage of feminism, all right? So feminism is not to blame for our society, all right? It is the individual that has made decisions to do and engage in specific behaviors that have led to the deterioration of our society. So you must hold the individual accountable instead of the ideology. The ideology means very little. These people who did this are the villains. Those are the villains. And when you try to use an ideology and blame an ideology for everything, these same people will then hide behind it and say that they are also victims of the ideology. You have women that are now blaming one another for feminism. arguing and they call it henpecking, where the rooster flies away, men are walking away, are going their own way. So the rooster, and it happens in the barns. The rooster flies away, and what happens when the rooster flies away? All the birds, all the chickens start to peck at one another, start to have a go at one another. It's called henpecking. That's what happens when the men leave. So now women are like, why are the men leaving? Why are the men are not dealing with us? What's going on? It's your fault. No, it's your fault. No, it's your fault. You look at this, you look at the situation with Concord, the video game. All of these feminist games have been taking L's. Now Concord is going to cost Sony presumably anywhere from $200 to even up to $300 million or more, because it was a game filled with feminist propaganda, woke propaganda, and now the women who developed the game, the artists behind the game, they're blaming the company. They're blaming the men in the company, the executives, Sony, for funding the game, for giving them a blank check, giving them over $100 million, $100 million, presumably $130 million, and telling them that they can create the game that they wanted to create. They're trying to blame the men in the company for the woke ideologies in the game, for the design of the characters. It's basically trying to say that they were forced to create the character designs that way, and it was a failure of management. We're talking about senior art designers, and they are victims, and now many of them no longer want to even draw anymore or work in the gaming industry. Many of them won't even be able to find jobs in the gaming industry. Concord may literally be the largest fall, the largest loss in the gaming industry ever on a video game. Okay, that was funded entirely by a private company. The largest loss ever. It's already one of the largest, but it may be the very largest. And they're crying victim. They're blaming the men. They're blaming society. They're blaming Sony for its failure, because the game cost over $100 million to make, evidently, and it may cost Sony $200 to $300 million, if not more, because there's marketing, distribution, all of this stuff that goes into it. And they're saying that they're victims. And of course, Sony is like saying that they're going to double. This is what reports are saying. I don't know if it's true. Sony is saying that they're going to double down on all the woke crap, and they're not abandoning woke in their games. Here's the 6 to 8 years, evidently. So almost a decade. So this is something that Sony was planning for a very long time. This means that a lot of these other games that they're working on, these woke games, they probably have a bunch of woke games already in the pipeline. We already know that. They have they actually do have a bunch of other woke games in the pipeline. We've seen some of them. And there's nothing they can do about them, because these games are already paid for. They've already spent hundreds of millions of dollars developing these games. So all they can do is just release them and take one L after another L after another L. And then how are they going to respond? By continually raising the price for their consoles, continually raising the price for their games. Right now, people are paying $70 for games that are not worth $70, bro. What I do is I'm not even buying, how I'm learning how to use Steam properly now. I basically just add the game that I want to my wish list, and then I get a notification. From Steam, like, okay, yeah, the game's available to download. For example, I wanted Warhammer. It was listed for $60. So I just added it to my wish list like a couple of days ago. Warhammer 2 just came out. And guess what? It came out today, I think. And now Warhammer, the original, which was like an 8-hour campaign, that game, I was able to pick it up for like $15, like 14 something today. All right. So I'm not paying full price for my games. I'm getting all of these games for dirt cheap compared to picking them up on PlayStation. And, on one hand, guys, you don't own your games anymore. Digital games that you own from PlayStation, you can't resell them. And you can't trust Sony either. You really cannot trust Sony, because if Sony goes bottom up, you're going to lose all of your digital assets anyway. People who purchased games on Steam 20 years ago, to my understanding, still can access their games that they purchased 20 years ago on Steam. Steam has such a good record, and there's so much freedom. Like, you can find pretty much games about anything on Steam. All right? Games that would never, ever see the light of day on something like PlayStation or Xbox. Those games are on Steam. So when you have that type of freedom, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of companies that'll say, you know what, we're not going to compromise with these. We're not going to compromise anymore. What's happening right now is you have all of these handheld PCs, all of these handheld gaming PCs. You have the Steam Deck, which is incredible. You have things like the Rogue G Ally, and of course, it's not perfect, but it's a big deal. It's a big deal. You have gaming laptops right now. Lots of gaming laptops out there. Okay, gaming PCs. All roads lead back to PC when it comes to gaming. They were right. PC Master Race. I'm sick. I'm really sick of the whole PC Master Race thing because these guys are very snooty and snoozy. But I will say this: like, it's at this point, PC is like the PC players. They were like, we were here in the beginning and we will be there in the end. And it really seems like that's where things are going. It really does. And if Steam drops a console, like if they drop their own Steam console, and I'm hopeful that they do, for me and I think a lot of other people, it's a day one. It's a 100% day one purchase. Like, I mean, like we would all pick it up day one. Day one. Because you're going to be able to do things on that unit more than likely that you just can never even imagine on your PlayStation. I could do pretty much anything on my Steam Deck. I can customize it in some crazy ways, and because of deck verification, I don't have to worry about typically game incompatibility. It's basically optimized for the hardware, just like how it would be optimized on a console, and that was the missing link. So as a result, now I don't have to worry about, I've never seen it before, and I don't think anyone really worries about it. Oh, this game doesn't work. There are compatibility issues, or they even have things like compatibility mode to resolve things like that. All in all, the amount of customizability that you have on Steam, and Steam is such a massive. There's so much on Steam right now. Like there's so many layers to Steam. There's so much you can do on the platform. It's absolutely brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. They give you so much freedom and so much access to express yourself. I really love it. I really, really love it. So I find guys, a Steam console, it's like a day one thing. It's 100% like a day one thing, and that would basically destroy a lot of the tyranny that's happening with Sony, where a lot of people would say, "Yeah, I'm not going to pick up a $700 PlayStation or an $800 PlayStation. Why the hell am I going to do that? I'm just going to pick up a Steam console. I'm just going to pick up a Steam console, pick up a Steam Deck, and there's a lot more competition coming as well, because evidently, like the Asus ROG G Ally, that's going to be getting a version of Steam as well, so you'll be able to play it on there. Steam, Steam OS is going to be Steam OS 3.0 will be compatible with it, evidently. But again, there's so much competition coming, and these woke companies are going to be screwed because now companies are watching what's happening with Concord, and they're like, "Holy cow!" Gaming development companies, we want to stay clear of this type of game. All right, because like people are boycotting these games. $200 million lost in a game that only sold 25,000 copies, so it only made about $1 million. All right, like that's insane. That's absolutely insane. And then developers of the game who made the game are now basically blaming the executives and the people who allowed them to make the game. That's another thing, guys. It's gonna end up resulting in a lot of restrictions on how games are made as well. Because while you have the woke brigade that seems to have like unlimited pockets and unlimited amounts of money, not everyone has that. So, for example, smaller studios, they're going to think twice about making games like this. Hopefully, it'll make even companies like Square Enix that are like pushing woke propaganda, beginning to push woke propaganda in their games, think twice. Like, yeah, if we keep on pushing this type of thing in our games, consumers will eventually say "f you," and they're already hurting from sales. Like Square Enix is in they're in pretty bad financial shape. They're restructuring. They're like I think canceling certain projects. We simply have to hope that Final Fantasy, the third part of the game, still is able to make it out the door before Squeenix goes bottoms up. A lot of that has to do because they do with them putting all their eggs in one basket, specifically with Sony. And people are rushing to Steam right now, making guys, it's looking like a better deal to put your games on Steam first. It is than going with than messing around with these console makers. And like with Sony and Microsoft, they'll tell you things along the lines of they don't want you making games like Stellar Blade, even with the Unreal Engine. They'll tell you things like, oh, these games you should be focusing on characters that are not beautiful, don't look like dolls. They should look like real people, like, basically, feminist models, like, again, not pretty, not beautiful, not good looking. They should look like characters from Concord, and we can see exactly where they went. We can see exactly where that went. People just people will just basically stop playing your games. And I read an article in another one of my videos where this woke journalist was like, what has to be done is developers have to make games that are so good that even if they're woke, people are forced to play them. Like guys, Concord actually has good gameplay overall. It's not the greatest, but it's basically more or less like Overwatch. The gameplay is actually good in Concord, but they're trying to say, oh, there were all kinds of other issues. There were issues with the design, and no, there were no issues with the design. The gameplay and the structure of the game is actually overall fun for a lot of people. The game itself is it's the political message, it's the character design. People cannot stand looking at these characters. People cannot stand the character design. They cannot stand the political ideologies that are being spread in these games. So they're choosing to abstain from purchasing the game and go elsewhere. They would rather play paper, rock, scissors. If you're going to be staring at character models for a long period of time, they better be beautiful. All right. I don't want to stare at an ugly person in a game for long periods of time, or else I'm going to say this is gross. Like, why would anyone? It's about diversity. All right. If you don't want to stare at unattractive people, and that's something that society has done to you. It's messed up your brain in the way that you think. These are beautiful people. These are attractive people. This is, guys, that's the insanity. That's the insanity that we live in. Don't forget, there are articles now that are condemning men, where you have women who are in their 50s and 60s, and they are condemning men because men want to date younger women, and they're saying that the desire of a man to date a younger woman is something that society has created. It is not normal, it is not natural, it is not environment, it is not genetic. It is a construct of society that is discriminating against women and saying that older women are not as attractive as younger women. When these women are, extremely attractive. They have, they're at the top of their careers. They're luxurious and all of this stuff. So really, basically they're going after men for not wanting to date women who have become the men they've always wanted. The men they've always wanted. So men who don't want to date masculine women, men who do not want to date women based solely on their career, what they've achieved in their career, but they're no longer fit, feminine, and friendly. Women are attacking, you have women who are in their 50s, who could no longer have children, or women in their late 40s who could no longer have children, who are attacking men who are the same age and telling them that these men are absolutely saying they don't understand men. They cannot understand how delusional these men are. You're 49 years old. How dare you want to have children at your age and go have a child with a 20-something-year-old woman? And it's like, you should know better by now. You're an old man. And the truth of the matter is that, as men, as we get older, we age like fine wine. We age like wine. As women get older, it's much difficult for them, because as we get older, we tend to look more masculine. Our money, our value increases because we have to create our own value. So our ability to our earning potential increases, our net worth increases, our knowledge, our wisdom increases. And again, we tend to look more masculine as we get older. Women, on the other hand, they tend to look, as they get older, they tend to look less feminine, and it's because femininity and or looking feminine is typically associated with youth. So women who are young, they be looking youthful is a sign of fertility, and a sign of fertility is also a sign of femininity. Okay, so as women get older and their ability to reproduce declines, their fertility declines, so does their, in many cases, the look of their femininity. That's not to say that you don't have older women that are not feminine, but it's very interesting that a lot of the women who are also going after men for preferring to date younger women are also women who have very masculine energy. It's a crazy reality that we now live in.
Now they banned her main channel where she had millions of subscribers with, again, no strikes. Caitlin Amaranth Sigarosa and bans have gone hand in hand for some time now. though the majority of them have been directed at our Twitch account and haven't lasted very long. Amaranth has been banned from Twitch at least 10 times, with a couple of those instances being the span of a few days. While these Twitch bans have been temporary, the latest YouTube ban is permanent. Amaranth's main YouTube channel has been removed from the service, with her account showing a 404 error and none of her original uploads available for viewing. The ban suddenly, without any prior warning, per Amaranth. She clearly isn't happy about it. Hey, Team YouTube. Here's the tweet, by the way. I should probably say join Rumble any chance I get. My main YouTube channel was gone. It's suddenly gone without warning. There were no strikes, no infractions. You also, at the same time, in the same notice email, deleted my personal YouTube channel that I didn't even make content on. It just has the YouTube Premium subscription. What's next? Are you going to take my Gmail and search, therefore forcing me to use Bing? I mean, I don't know. I asked Amaranth if she had any indication or information on what the ban was from. She had no idea what it was for. She said that her ASMR channel was too spicy, apparently. But I don't know why you wouldn't then issue strikes for the offending videos, and then if you get 3 strikes, then your channel gets terminated. Why just terminate it out?
Because, guys, they can do whatever they want. Check this out. For example, I have a poll up. Gen Z has suddenly stopped calling out Gen X. What happened, right? And you know what's interesting about this? There are all kinds of shadow bans and shadow flagging happening in the background that we don't even know about. I got a comment on the video from Kathy, and she reveals, check this out. This vote post is being shadow banned. It won't let me vote. It won't let me vote. Okay? So she's trying to vote on it, and she's basically letting me know that she cannot vote on that poll. All right. So guys, we don't even know. This is just to show you. This is why a lot of my comments are shadow banned from my account. A lot of it happens. It's happening to all of us, many of us at least. Where we're basically, our voice is being silenced, and we don't even know that we're being silenced. We don't even know that we are being silenced on the service. Okay. They're basically actively working to censor us, to take our voice away, and they do it in a way where we don't even know that it's happening. And then at any given moment, today could be our last day. Today could absolutely be our last day. Because nothing really lasts forever. Now, when I check, I just checked the poll with another account, and it does look like it's working just fine. However, I do believe her. I absolutely believe her because, I was able to do it just now, but there's no reason why she wouldn't have been able to do it. Okay, being able to tech us, it's just literally tapping on a poll, and that's it. So and then there's a lot of these bots who will pop up and say, "Oh, it's just an error. It's just an error. Ignore it. You clearly don't know how YouTube works." That's how these people are, guys. Because these people that are here basically going along with this narrative, they want hell on earth. They want this to happen. They want everyone to be silenced. They want us to lose our voices. They hate you so much. They hate us all so much that they would rather lose their voices as well. Many of them think that they're going to be fine and have some kind of position or power, but because I said they're agents of the state. But a lot of them are so far gone. A lot of them are so wicked. Like, you have to understand, they have the Jezebel spirit within them. You have to understand just how wicked Queen Jezebel was. All right. And like I said, the Jezebel spirit inhibits both men and women. Queen Jezebel could have repented. She chose not to. Okay. She was extremely wicked. And you have to understand. And she basically was so wicked that she was ready and prepared to pass, and in a very harsh manner, for her wicked ways and for her wicked beliefs. That is how wicked some people are. These people are that wicked. They are so wicked that they would rather lose everything. They would rather basically, experience Control-Alt-Deletion just as long as everyone else also experiences Control-Alt-Deletion. That's how wicked that they are. All right? As long as you cannot speak, even if they lose their voice, as long as you lose your voice too, they've won. They've gotten what they wanted. as long as they were able to silence you. It doesn't matter that they're now being silenced themselves. As long as they were able to silence you, they got what they wanted. That is to show you just how wicked that they are, the wickedness within these individuals. It is an extreme form of nastiness and evil. So when you say, so guys, what many of you don't believe that, may not believe that evil exists. Oh, it does exist. It absolutely exists. It absolutely inhibits many, many people. Okay. And by the way, guys, as like we said, we never know what's going to happen here. So go and sign up to my Substacks, because through Substacks, guys, I can always reach you guys. All right, go and join the Angry Guy Clubhouse. Angry Guy Clubhouse is amazing. There's a link to it in the description of the video. We have podcast videos, extended videos, guides, everything else. I try to drop new articles every single day for you guys on a variety of subjects. Everything's related to the manosphere or just plain old fun. All right. And there's also guides on there that'll help you to build a business, build a brand. Guys, hell on earth is coming. You need to know how to build and grind and create right now. YouTube is still a great place to make money. It is still a great place to make money. It's just that when you're dealing with the kind of content that we create, for example, discussing topics that they may not like, but if you're just like, if you want to create, I still recommend YouTube and Rumble and so forth, but it's about learning how to build. It's about learning the skills necessary. I've got my course coming for you guys, which is going to teach you how to build a successful YouTube business. And you can do this not just on YouTube. You can do it on Rumble. You can do it on all of these platforms, because it's not about the amount of subscribers that you have. It's literally about the watch time. It's a combination of the views, the watch time. So it's not even just about the views. It's also very much the views and the watch time. That's what makes the biggest difference. Not the number of views, but the views and the watch time. Okay? And there's a lot of psychology that goes into this. For example, if a video is only 10-minute long, chances are only one ad will be shown in a 10-minute video. But if a video is longer, the longer a person watches, well, then the more ads that are going to be shown in that video. That's actually psychology. That's viewer psychology. That's something that, for example, if you're watching a 30-minute show on television, how many ads are you likely to see? How many ad breaks are there going to be? Probably 2 to 3, or there could be up to 4, right? So when you apply that concept to online media, you'll quickly understand. Oh, so basically, the longer the video is, then and the better the engagement, the longer you're able to keep people watching, then the more money that the content that the video will make for the platform, and thereby you'll be rewarded for that. So you have to learn these little things, and that can help you to build your business, build your brand. And also, it's not about just AdSense revenue. A lot of people, they say do not become an employee. For many people, the bulk of their money does not come from AdSense. It comes from selling products, services, creating value, doing consultations, building a client base, a user base, a subscriber base that allows you to then share your other things with your other projects with them, and you become an authority on something as well. This is the key to growth and survival. And many of you're going to be surprised when your jobs disappear in the coming years, or the coming year. So you guys, you need to jump on it. I've got my course coming for you guys very soon. I recommend everyone pick it up ASAP. As soon as the course is out, pick it up, start building, start grinding, because you cannot live off that 9-to-5 job. Do not trust it. You've got a lot of these little jokers out here doing DoorDash and demanding tips. Those jobs are going to be gone soon. They're not going to last forever. Guys, it just takes a moment for technology to completely disrupt these jobs. You go to a restaurant, and now you have conveyor belts that are bringing your food out, and it's basically circulating all around the restaurant. And you have and it comes in like a container that shields your food, so when it gets to your table and it opens up for you, so no one can tamper with your food. And you just reach in and take your food. You order a drink, it comes straight to you. You don't have to wait for a waitress. This is what's happening right now. Okay. This is what's happening. This technology is going to spread everywhere. It absolutely has the potential to. All right. These cars that deliver, that can drive you, that don't have a driver. One big function for this, It'll deliver your food. It'll deliver your packages. You'll go outside, grab your food, grab your packages. So guys, what happens? What happens when you no longer need an Amazon delivery driver? What happens when you no longer need these people? Because that's the future that we're heading into. Sometimes you may just have to walk downstairs to go get your food. Some of you are like, I'll never do it. I'll never do it. I'll pay the extra tip. I'll tip the extra money and go and have them bring it to the door. You guys are jokers. You guys are jokers. Because the people that are saying these things are just basically they're the same type of people that believe that someone owes them something or society owes people something, or they are people who just don't want to have easy lives. You know, they're not able to do anything else in life, so society needs to make sure that there are jobs like this for them. Society doesn't owe you anything, and technology changes things. That's how some jobs. There are many jobs that were around 40, 50 years ago. Those jobs are no longer a thing. Like chimney sweepers, chimney cleaners, and stuff like that. A lot of those jobs are no longer around. A lot of those jobs are no longer around. I know that's not a perfect example. People sweeping the streets, and now you have machines that do these jobs. There's so many jobs that used to exist that no longer exist, but they've been replaced by other jobs. And people who learn technical skills are able to now, do the new jobs that exist. A lot of people just don't want to learn. But anyway, you can visit our the Angry Guy Clubhouse by going to the link in the description. There'll also be something that pops on the screen that allow you to go over there, subscribe to the Clubhouse, and if anything happens, you guys, I will always be able to reach you. Can always send you an email because I can reach you through the Clubhouse. You'll be able to get access to my videos. I'm working on getting over onto another platform for you guys. If you get what I'm saying, if you get what I mean, it's just taking a while because it takes a lot of time to move content around. But to move content from one platform to another platform. But I am working on it. I am consciously aware. I see the writing on the wall. I'm going as fast as I can. I barely sleep. I'm not sleeping well, guys. I'm not sleeping well. Constantly taking Excedrin and Motrin. I'm grinding hard because I see what's coming. That's wisdom, and I just keep praying to God that I pray to God that my efforts are rewarded and that I can survive and I can keep on grinding because I see the living hell that we're about to unfold. And Mayumi, she has a ranch. Yeah, I believe it's a ranch. She has land, and they have animals on their land. Her husband, he's a very intelligent guy. He's able to repair things, and these are people who know how to. And he has extremely high survival skills. She's a physician, so of course I'm not saying doctors know everything, but she has some knowledge of being able to survive if crap goes downhill. So these are people who actually have figured out that hey, things are not perfect, and she literally sent her kids off to Japan, so they basically know that things are hell on earth, and they're fight. They basically set themselves up. She also has a lot of she knows how to use a firearm. So that's how you're gonna have to be. A lot of you guys, many of you are like, well, I don't care. I'm just gonna wait until everything goes to hell. Yeah, guys, let me tell you something. It's hard. It's really hard because it doesn't just happen right away. And when you get hungry and you start to starve, many of you don't know what it truly means to be hungry. All right, I'm telling you, hunger is not a joke. Anyway, guys, what do you think regarding all of this? This is how society collapses. Let me know your thoughts. We'll talk about it in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA, men walking away. And cheers.